Good evening. My name is Dr. Gregory Williams, and welcome to my home here in Houston, Texas. I work at Baylor College of Medicine. Matter of fact, it's just right on the other side of this block, just on the other side of the street here, in the medical center at Texas Children's Hospital Pavilion for Women. I want to talk to you today about how sexual abuse affected my masculinity. From the earliest memory that I have as a child, which is around 4 years old, all the way up to almost my 17th birthday, I was sexually abused by my father every single day. As a matter of fact, in my book, the first sentence in my book that I wrote about my abuse goes like this: there isn't a day in my childhood that I can remember that I wasn't sexually abused. Every single day. And all those years of abuse took a toll on me, and it takes a toll on men and women equally. But the 35 years after I was sexually abused destroyed me emotionally, mentally, relationally, professionally. All those Lee family members got into my mental attic and started kicking the shingles loose up there. And what I'm saying is that when sexual abuse happens to a female or a male, there's going to be those common things that come along with that. Suicidal thoughts, nightmares. I still have nightmares. Insomnia. I can't sleep more than an hour and a half, 2 hours a night. I power nap once in the middle of the night and once in the late afternoon. There's anger and rage, depression, mood swings, shame, guilt that is unbelievably heavy, helplessness. There's a feeling of isolation. There's a low self-esteem that I just still can't comfortably look at myself in the mirror. It disgusts me. I don't like what I see when I look in the mirror. Difficulty with relationships, major trust issues. Now those characteristics, those damages that those do because you're sexually abused go hand in hand with female and male. But because there's a different set of masculinity issues that I dealt with in my own life, because I questioned my manhood, I felt pressured to always prove that I was a man and I was in control of absolutely everything. And then there was also a sense and a cloud and a darkness of being less of a man than anybody else because I held on to this secret. And I really want you to look into my eyes right now, because you may be holding on to this secret too. And because of that, it weighs you down. And then there's a sense in my masculinity that I felt a loss of power, a loss of control, a loss of confidence of who I really was supposed to be as a man. And from 17 years old, after the sexual abuse ended, I didn't tell anybody that I was sexually abused until over 35 years later. And that's when the damage took effect. That's when the aftermath, the shrapnel of the war and the battle that was going on in my mind mentally started really destroying and falling apart and becoming so heavy that I couldn't hardly overcome it. So what I ended up doing from 17 years old all the way up until my early 50s was to literally put on the mask. And I wore that mask beautifully. I'd be walking up and down the hallways of Baylor College of Medicine and say, "Hey, Dr. Williams, how you doing today?" And I say, "I'm fantastic." And I would do a thumbs up. But inside and behind that mask, I was falling apart. And worst of all, I was lying to the world. And then on top of that, I was lying to myself and my family. I was literally hiding in the darkness until one day I finally had to do, and this is the steps it took for me to get out of this state of mind that I was in, of this darkness. I had to admit that it happened to me without shame, without feeling of guilt. I just admitted I had been sexually abused. That A of admit was a huge, big start for me, and the baggage and the weight started falling off me. And then I had to be kind to myself and not be so hard on myself like I have typically always was. And then I had to do the C. I had to control my emotions. Now, I like to throw the last step for me was to decide to take action today. You can't let the past continue to control your future, continue to hold you down in your masculinity. Today, I want you to decide to make a choice that you are a man. This was not your fault, and to decide to start searching for hope. Because I know without a shadow of a doubt that right now there is hope for me and you, and never give up on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Dr. Williams.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Coach Love.
Bye-bye for now.